Welcome to another episode of Field Notes, Insights and Observations for the Travel Marketer. My name is Eric Hulkran, and on today's show, we're talking about something big. Before we jump into the meat of today's episode, I wanted to talk very quickly about an interesting move from Anthropic, who owns Claude. They are running ads on LinkedIn right now, talking about how they won't run ads inside their large language model, their LLM. So this is a direct shot at our story from last week when we were talking about ChatGPT's open beta for advertisements to show up inside of chat. This is Claude and Anthropic going after OpenAI to make this interesting arms race as to who can be profitable with or without running advertisements. So if you're on LinkedIn this week, you will undoubtedly see an ad from Claude talking about how you don't need ads when you're searching with an AI. Speaking of AI, last week, investor Matt Shumer went on X and wrote this very long blog post that went absolutely viral, racking up somewhere in the neighborhood of like 80 million views on X alone. And it has been sent to me over and over and over again. And I wanted to talk about it briefly. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you. I will put it in the show notes if you've not seen it so that you can read it. And one of the things that Matt said, he went on CNBC on Friday to apologize for this and say this article was not meant to scare people. And what's interesting about the space that we're in right now, and as these new models are coming out, and there was a new model of GPT that came out on February 5th, that you are getting two camps, we'll call it 2.5, but we'll focus on two camps of people. There are the human beings that are quoting Ada Lovelace and talking about how computers won't ever able to be thinking. They will be receiving prompts from human beings and responding to said prompts. We need not worry about Skynet, the Terminator, AI taking your job. So that's one camp. They're very bullish on AI. They love everything AI can do because they feel there is complete control over what's happening inside the box. Camp number two is everything is awful and we should be scared all the time. And so somewhere in between these two is what actually is going to happen. Now, I am a little bit of column A, pretty bullish on AI. I'm a little bit of column B. I'm paying close attention to what things are happening, specifically when it comes to like the Ring and Nest Super Bowl ads where you can borrow your neighbor's Ring and Nest cameras or Meta glasses at a restaurant. And do we really want to live in a world where we're constantly surveilled by people that are strangers to us? Those are the questions that I tend to ask in and around AI. Is that really what we want to do? But this one has a couple specific things in the article that I wanted to talk about. One was very quickly in the article, Matt compares what's happening to AI to what was happening in COVID. There was some conversations early on, wasn't really considered to be a big deal until it was a huge deal. He feels AI is in the same boat, but it's going to move faster. And to some extent, I think we can agree that is actually happening. But if you go all the way down the article, there is an absolutely brilliant paragraph. The single most important paragraph in this entire piece is as follows. A lot of people find comfort in the idea that certain things are safe, that AI can handle the grunt work, but can't replace human judgment, creativity, strategic thinking, empathy. And I used to say this too. I'm not sure I believe it anymore. The most recent AI models make decisions that feel like judgments. They show something that looks like taste, an intuitive sense of what the right call was, not just technically the correct one. A year ago, that would have been unthinkable. My rule of thumb at this point is if a model shows even a hint of capability today, the next generation will be genuinely good at it. These things improve exponentially, not linearly. I'm not writing this to make you feel helpless. I'm writing this because I think the single biggest advantage you can have right now is to simply be early. Early to understand it, early to use it, early to adapt. Start using AI seriously, not just as a search engine. And this is the part, this is me speaking, this is not in the article. This is the part where I think this is the most important lesson and why I wanted to talk about it on a Monday morning. Start using AI seriously, not just as a search engine. Sign up for the paid version of Claude or GPT. It's $20 a month because two things matter right away. First, make sure that you're using the best model available, not just the default. These apps often default to the faster, dumber model. Dig into the settings or the model picker and select the most capable option. In Claude and GPT, they're found in different spots, but you can most assuredly do that. Right now, that's GPT 5.2 on ChatGPT or Claude Opus 4.6 on Claude. But it changes every couple of months. If you want to stay current on which model at any given time, you can follow Matt on X. He tests every major release and shares what's actually worth sharing. And I want to pause here because that's the important part. Earlier in the article, he talks about people who are still saying that I tried AI and it didn't work. And most of those human beings tried a free version, which is many, many iterations behind what the paid at $20 a month and even what the paid at $200 a month have access to. And so as we are hitting this tipping point, he is saying now is the time. If you are, or your organization or your DMO has no one who is paying for GPT or Claude, you should change that right away. Let's get back to what he said. Secondly, and more important, don't just ask it quick questions. That's the mistake most people make. They treat it like Google and wonder what the fuss is about. Instead, push it into your actual work. If you're a lawyer, feed it a contract and ask it to find every clause that could hurt your client. Now, if you're a lawyer, maybe that's bad advice, but you get what he's going for here. If you're in finance, give it a messy spreadsheet and ask it to build the model. If you're a manager, paste it into your team's quarterly data and ask it to find the story. The people who are getting ahead aren't using AI casually. They're actively looking for ways to automate parts of their job that used to take hours. Start with the thing that you spend the most time on and see what happens. Now, like I said, that was the most interesting part because it was not the fear-mongering that's at the beginning of the article and it kind of piddles out at the end. It is absolutely worth a read as long as you come at it from the lens that the world is not doom and gloom, and he's even kind of backpedaled on some of the words that are in this blog post. But the one thing that I wanted to say today is that in February of 2026, if you are not paying for one of these things and you're taking marketing seriously, I want you to change that because it is moving so quickly and so much is moving around that if you are relying on the free version, you are doing you and your DMO an active disservice. And so I wanted to say, hey, in the show notes, you can read the article if you would like to. But in the meantime, pick the one that you like the most. Feel free. Play with free models until you find the one that you love. I personally I pay for GPT and I pay for Claude because I use them both differently and they help me in my workflow. That might not be the answer for you. Find the thing that is the answer for you and then start using it immediately. As always, if you need anything, feel free to send us a message and we'll be back next week with another episode of Field Notes.